Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. On today we have Asa, who managed to make top 4 with Invoked Mekk Knight. So once again we're seeing the power of Invoked Mekk Knight in this rather roguish format, playing a going second list and taking home a top 4 spot. So this is 2 weeks on the trot, I think. So this time it's Asa, and it's a lot more like the, I want to say it's more like the Invoked lists of old, in that it plays a load of hand traps, an interesting trick-style lineup actually that does give it some edge over the usual, and some great going second cards. So let's dive right into this list then. Oh, before we get to that, don't forget, if you head into the description, you can pick up this exact deck list from a Dueling Book download link, which means that you can see all of the cards much closer if you can't see them on this screen, and you'll be able to pilot it straight away, make any edits that you want, and play it online for yourself. So definitely worth heading into the description, picking up that link. So let's carry on. Triple Alistair, triple Ash, 1 Pancratops, double Gamma Seal, 1 Gizmek, very interesting, this one I quite like it. Triple Blue Sky, 1 Indigo Eclipse, triple Purple Nightfall, that is the usual Mekk Knight lineup I think. Triple Gamma, 1 Driver to go with that, and then for the Trickstyle lineup there's 1 Candina, 1 Caravane, and 1 Light Stage. So if you see Candina or the Light Stage, then you get yourself 2 Link materials, so that's pretty nice. 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 2 Invocation, a triple Meltdown, double Mind Control, double Desires, 1 Terraforming, triple Evenly, and double Infinite Impermanence. So what is this? 3, 6, 8 actual hand traps, and then you've got your 2 Kaiju to wipe out 1 monster, 1 Pancratops to wipe out 1 monster, and triple Evenly. So plenty of going second cards for monster decks here. If we take a look at the extra deck, so it's just 5 Invoked fusions, which are Kaliga, double Macabre, 1 Purgatrio, and 1 Ragin. This is actually one that we keep seeing people drop the Ragin. So it's interesting that he's brought this in, that he must have anticipated playing against some wind decks, I guess. Then there's 1 Alistair the Invoker of Madness, 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, Borosword. We've got the new Cross Sheep coming in. This is interesting because we're going to start to see it having a lot more play when Shaddolls bring out the new structure deck, but for now it certainly has a place within the meta in this particular build. 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, 1 Lambda, 1 Amirage, 1 Secure Gardener. This one's quite nice, taking a Cyberse Link monster in order to get things going, so you can like make your Amirage and then go into your Secure Gardener, which is pretty cool actually. And then 1 Avramax. For the side deck there's just 1 Lancia and 1 Scythe, because there is triple sanction to get those out of the deck. People will often make you go first if you're playing this deck, so you know, if you're made to go first, you're going to be in a pretty good spot if you can see any of those. And then triple Nibiru, triple Mystic Mine, triple Twin Twisters, and 1 Red Reboot. Not a lot to say about those, to be honest. You know, you out the monster boards or you out the spell trap boards. Now we do have full details from this event from Asus, so let's get into it. It was a 7-round event. He had 1 loss in round 2 to Zombies. And we've got some comments on everything. So round 1 against ABC, obviously the pieces make good Macabre material, so you're favoured in that matchup. Round 2 against Zombies, so this is the loss. Game 1, it was basically Trickstar beatdown, which allowed him to win, but in Game 2 he bricks, and in Game 3 the opponent had the Rivalry Zombie World lock, so it's way too strong and he wasn't able to out it, and did not see Alistair all game, unfortunately. Round 3 against Rank 4 Lunalight, so he OTK'd the opponent in Game 1, who didn't have enough to stop him, and then in Game 2, he did not see enough cards to stop the opponent from comboing off fully, and then in Game 3 mine and the hand traps were enough to stop the opponent, and then when he had the resources he was able to go for game. Funny highlight was when the opponent shuffled back a set Invocation with Unicorn, making the Alistair that he had in hand live the next turn. Bit weird, that one. Quite interesting though, I guess. And then round 4 against Goki, this is basically the PPG list, so tons of hand traps. The Alistair got hand trapped twice in game 1, and the opponent made Borosword to take the BLS link. And then in game 2 there was the Macabre, and Macabre control is basically enough to stop the opponent, and in game 3 he has a Mine, so easy enough there for the win. Round 5 against Rank Up Lunalight, very similar to round 3. round 6 against Mekk Invoked Mirror, so Tribute Summoning Driver opened up a bunch of columns and was probably the strongest player of the match. Ironically, Asa barely used any of the fusions either, quite interesting that one. And then finally, round 7 against Heroes. Game 1 he OTKs the opponent, Game 2 the opponent plays through a Nibiru, which is not enough to stop him, and then in Game 3, very healthy cardboard via the Mine. So Mystic Mine really putting in a lot of work. It seems like certainly in UK regionals there's a large amount of people just playing wombo combo decks, and they're totally happy to just play all these decks because there's no fear of the like Mine and Nibiru being named. So definitely one to consider. If we look at the side strategy, so against combo decks we see, as I mentioned, the Scythe and the Sanctums coming in, and the Nibrus as well. Even if you're going first, you have to take out a bunch of, sort of engine-y cards in order to fit that, but that seems pretty fine. And then going second, obviously the Mines come in instead of the Sanctums, basically. Going against the back row decks, you obviously put in the back row removal, so the Twisters and the Reboot going to be the same whether you go first or second, but the sliding out changes a little bit when you go first, because obviously the Mekk Knights are not quite as good, and nor is the evenly match, because you often have a field spell actually. And then against Orcust or combo decks that do involve banishing, you do want to put the Lancia in as well as the Scythe, so that's just a slight change to the going first strategy. And that is it for the siding here. In terms of the additional questions, I asked him how the event was. He said it was pretty well run, never felt like it dragged in between rounds. It was only a 10 to 15 minute wait with a half-hour lunch break after round 3. Wonderful venue as always, the hot dogs were really good. The additional Ultimate Guard support via raffle and top 8 was nice as well. Why did he decide to play this deck? Well, with the death of Colossus, the Invoked package becomes playable once again, and this format, going second, is incredibly strong with the amount of utility cards and easy to break boards that there are now. It's one of the best decks that he knows at the moment, so he thought it would be worth giving it another shot. Also, he's not a millionaire, so he can't really afford the Spiral deck, and the same with the case of the Lightning Storms, which otherwise would potentially find their way in here too. He was also pretty 50-50 on playing Loonlight as well. In terms of hardest and easiest matchups, he says most of the back row decks aren't too difficult, as it's easy to make columns and play around said back row with cards like Light Stage, Cosmic Cyclone and Evenly. Geist being the easiest out of the back row decks, you just get rid of Faker and the deck really struggles. The hardest matchup would be Spiral, as although the board is breakable, Sleeper is the most annoying card to play around in the world, and you need to play around them very carefully. Luckily, he didn't play against any of them because there were only 2 in the room. Really not a lot of Spiral representation over that weekend. Compared to other decks, he says that this particular list was inspired by the first place Liverpool regional list that played the Trickstar engine. He tried it out online, it seemed pretty interesting. It gives you a play in case you don't open a way into Alistair. Basically, you use them to go into a Phoenix or a Sheep, summon a Knight, then link them off into the Mad Alistair if you hard open the Invocation too. Corbane and Alistair make the Mad Alistair. Gizmek Orochi was a last minute addition, thanks to Tom for the idea. As an extender and for the grind game, only summoned it once though, during the first game of the whole tournament. Obviously it's not searchable, so you do just have to bear that in mind. He says that the Trickstar engine didn't really come up enough, unfortunately, due to either not seeing it, though the same can be said for a lot of the cards that he played for the event. He still wants to experiment with the Trickstar engine though. His back row hate, he didn't really see it a lot, so there was not a lot of purpose for it because there were very few, single back row decks, and the Gizmek was only played once. In terms of changes, you might round the deck up to 40, bringing off the Orochi there, playing around with different hand traps and disruptions, although Gamma is most likely staying due to being the second best hand trap right now apart from Droll. Speaking of which, he chose not to play Droll because at a regional, if it's a small one, you're unlikely to see loads of Spiral due to how expensive the deck has become, and at bigger regionals, YCSs, you would expect Droll to be mained basically. And then in terms of influential sets, he says that Ignition Assault gives Invoked a lot of utility cards to play with. He was experimenting with Gravity Controller and testing with Instant Fusion and Restrict before deciding not to play them for the regional. It's good for outing Borreload and Avramax, but it doesn't come up enough and there are better link plays. Gizmek Kaku is another interesting one as it's a Purgatrio material and a pseudo Mekk Knight via the extra monster zone, but again, it's a really situational card. Finally, having the Cross Sheep, which now enables more OTKs. It was really good. He never summoned it though. It's still going to play it because it's pretty stable in most fusion decks now, including this one and the new Shaddoll one. He's pretty excited actually about the new upcoming Shaddoll structure deck. It looks to have some pretty decent potential even with Invoked, and it can make for a very interesting OTK strategy. As for the shoutouts, they go to Nappa for driving them to the regional, as well as getting 4th place, to Adam for getting 6th place, Beanie Games for hosting the regional, and the moral support from all the Leeds, Preston and Huddersfield bunch, especially from Helsius and from Tom. Thanks very much, Asa, for coming on and sharing your list. What do you guys think about this Mekk Knight Invoked list? Are you going to be taking it to your next regional? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.